This training on the emerald ash borer was developed by Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service and the Texas A&M Department of Entomology by program specialists Molly Keck, Wizzie Brown, and extension specialists Dr. Rafia Khan and Pat Porter. This training was developed to assist homeowners in identifying emerald ash borer, their infestations, and management options. The emerald ash borer is an incredibly invasive beetle that originated from Northeast Asia. It was first discovered around Detroit, Michigan in 2002, but it is estimated to have been introduced in the United States in the mid-1990s. It was likely brought in on shipping containers that contained ash wood products. Since its introduction, it has spread to 35 states in the east to mid-United States, including Texas. The emerald ash borer, Agrilis planapennis, is a striking beetle with metallic green head, thorax, and wings. The underside of the wings are a coppery red coloration. They are relatively small, only about half an inch long in length at their longest. They have a flattened head and a bullet-shaped body. They are in a group of beetles commonly called flat-headed borers. Emerald ash borers primarily attack species of ash as their host plants, but they have also recently been known to feed on European olive and fringe trees to some extent. Unfortunately, once emerald ash borers become established in ash trees, they will kill the tree. This map shows the distribution of native ash trees throughout Texas. You can see that a fair number of species are found in the eastern, central, and southern parts of the state, as well as pockets in the western and Big Bend region. While it may not seem that we have a plethora of ash species, we do have many planted ash in our landscapes. The loss of landscape trees is significant to the aesthetics and value of a home and landscape. Emerald ash borers have a complete life cycle, going through a series of 4 stages, from egg to larva to pupa and finally adult. Adults tend to emerge during the summer months of May through August, but according to the Texas Forest Service, they're more likely to emerge May through June in Texas. When they exit the tree as the adult, they have a very characteristic D-shaped hole that they leave behind. This is about 1/8 of an inch in diameter. This D-shaped hole can be any orientation: sideways, upside down, backwards. The adults will feed on the leaves of ash trees, then mate and lay anywhere from 40 to 200 eggs in the crevices of the ash bark. Most emerald ash borer females will lay their eggs on nearby trees from where they emerged. While most females will lay their eggs within 100 yards, they have been known to disperse much further. The vast majority will disperse within half a mile of their emergence, but it can be up to 3 miles. This, along with the fact that once damage and symptoms are noticed, the emerald ash borer has likely been established in the area for a good period of time, it is estimated that trees within a 30-mile radius of infestations are at risk. Once females lay eggs in the crevices of the bark, the eggs will hatch within 7 to 10 days, and tiny larvae will burrow into the tree. Larvae are creamy, milky white color and relatively narrow or thin, with segmented or serrated-like bodies. And unlike most flat-headed borers, they do not have an exaggeratedly flattened head. The larvae of the emerald ash borer are the main damaging form. While the adults will feed on the foliage, it is the larvae burrowing under the bark that causes the most damage and ultimate death of the tree. Larvae burrow just under the bark of the tree and produce S-shaped or serpentine or snake-like galleries. The burrowing of the emerald ash borer essentially girdles the tree, cutting off the food and water supply to the tree and starving it. As a reminder of how trees receive their nutrients, which will help in understanding how the emerald ash borer starves the tree, here is a diagram of the inside of a tree. Trees are not straws or hollow tubes in which water and nutrients are drawn straight through the middle. Instead, water and nutrients travel through components of the bark. Living phloem is the component which draws food and nutrients through the tree. Emerald ash borers burrow and feed in this component, breaking the food and water supply to the canopy, which starves and kills the tree. This is what is called girdling. When emerald ash borer has infested an ash tree, the first symptom is generally dieback of the top third of the canopy. This is because the food supply has been cut off from the roots and the tree is dying from the top down. As the infestation progresses, you may see epicormic shoots produce at the base of the tree, and this is the tree's last-ditch effort at survival. Other signs and symptoms of emerald ash borer include the presence of D-shaped holes from the adults exiting the tree. And this is probably the most characteristic symptom of emerald ash borer infestations. However, this indicates that the original infestation occurred at least 1 year prior, as the beetles take 1 year to complete their life cycle from egg to emerging adult. Other symptoms include the bark splitting apart or the presence of serpentine, snake-like galleries. You may also notice increased woodpecker activity. However, this should not be the only symptom to assume an emerald ash borer infestation. Emerald ash borer was first detected in Texas in April of 2016 when 4 adult beetles were caught and confirmed in a monitoring trap in Harrison County, just south of Karnak, Texas, in the northeastern part of the state. The Texas A&M Forest Service began monitoring for the pest in 2012 by strategically deploying detection traps each spring. These traps are monitored throughout the spring and summer months during peak emerald ash borer emergence and movement and continue to be deployed today. Soon after, in 2018, emerald ash borer was found in Tarrant County. The jump from Harrison to Tarrant was likely due to movement of firewood, infested nursery stock, or other wood products. This was not a natural spread, but facilitated by human help. Natural spread varies in different areas, from 1 to 2 miles in states like Vermont to 2 to 3 miles in states like North Carolina. Spread to adjacent counties have continued since then. And as of June of 2024, emerald ash borer has been detected in 19 additional counties since the original Harrison County detection made in 2016. Additional positive confirmations have been made in Bowie, Bosque, Camp, Cass, Cook, Dallas, Denton, Grayson, Hill, Hood, Hopkins, Marion, McLennan, Morris, Palo Pinto, Parker, Rusk, Tarrant, Titus, and Wise counties. Undoubtedly, emerald ash borer will continue to move in and around these areas, and it is possible that new detections will be made in other counties. Texas A&M Forest Service continues to monitor the movement of emerald ash borer through its trapping program and remains vigilant in evaluating potential emerald ash borer sightings across the state. If you suspect you have an infestation of emerald ash borer, take pictures of any symptoms that you see, especially D-shaped exit holes. Be sure to add a size reference to the photo, such as a ruler, tape measure, or a coin. If you suspect you have an adult emerald ash borer, collect it. Emerald ash borers are not dangerous to humans and can be collected by hand. Preserve them in at least 70% alcohol, hand sanitizer, or place them in the freezer. It is imperative that a specimen is identified positively as emerald ash borer in order for a new county to be placed on the map. Remember, there are quite a few lookalikes for emerald ash borer, including a native species that looks remarkably like emerald ash borer. Collecting a specimen is necessary. There are many species of boring insects found throughout Texas, so ensure that the tree species that you believe is infested is actually an ash species, European olive, or a fringe tree. To report a potential emerald ash borer finding or infestation, contact the hotline set up by the USDA's Plant Protection and Quarantine Program at 1-866-322-4512. There are 2 species of borers in the same genus as the emerald ash borer of Agrilis that are very close lookalikes, the bronze birch borer and the metallic wood borer. Even with a keen eye, it can be very difficult to identify the difference between the species, especially from pictures. This is why it is very important not to assume you have found emerald ash borer, but to collect a specimen and submit it through the proper channels for positive identification. In order to slow the spread of the emerald ash borer through human means, there is a quarantine placed on counties in which emerald ash borer has been found. This quarantine is through the Texas Department of Agriculture. It requires that actual emerald ash borers are not moved outside of quarantine counties. It also requires that firewood of all hardwoods are not moved outside of the quarantine, regardless of the species of wood. This is because it can be very difficult to identify the species of firewood once it has been cut. Ash nursery stock is also prohibited from movement outside of quarantine counties, as well as any plant material in the genus Fraxinus, ash plants. There are options available to you for prevention and management of emerald ash borer. However, it is important to evaluate the damage already done to the tree. Once the canopy dieback has reached 40%, the tree likely cannot be saved, and it is highly recommended by multiple agencies to destroy the tree. At this point, the damage to the vascular system is so intensive that the pesticide will not travel through the tree to kill enough beetles. Removing heavily infested trees can help slow the spread of the insect. After infested trees are cut down, wood must be disposed of properly by chipping, mulching, burning, or using as firewood. If trees have less than 30 to 40% canopy dieback, it is possible to treat and have successful results. It is not guaranteed, but you are more likely to be able to save a tree that has less than 30 to 40% dieback than those with greater than 40% dieback. Homeowners do have a fair number of options when it comes to treating ash trees in their landscape. A very good management guide developed by The Ohio State University, Michigan State University, Purdue University Extension, and Colorado State Extension, and published through the North Central IPM Center, is available for free online at emeraldashborer.info. Within this guide, there is a table providing products for homeowners. The options that homeowners can use for treating trees against emerald ash borer are systemic pesticides. These can be found in soil drench or granular formulations and work to target both the adults feeding on leaf material and the larvae burrowing under the bark. The active ingredients are imidacloprid, and clothianidin, and dinotefuran. And the table provides information on the recommended times to apply the pesticide in order to provide the best management against emerald ash borer. It is important to recognize that using pesticides to treat trees is very different than other treatments, such as lawn treatments. The label should be followed closely if good results are expected. Label instructions are specific to the insecticide product in the bottle or bag. Many of these products can be found at your local nursery or box stores. Be sure not to apply to frozen or water-saturated soil. Don't apply to heavily dried soil. And if the tree has mulch around the base of the trunk, rake the mulch away at least 12 inches. You can replace the mulch after application. Be sure to read the label for all proper application rates as to not over or under apply the pesticide. Because emerald ash borer can be infesting an area for years before it is noticeable, it is recommended that trees within 30 miles of known emerald ash borer infestations be treated as a preventative. Treating versus removal of dead or live trees can be more cost efficient. The estimated cost to treat a tree at about $10 per inch diameter of the tree estimates out to about $300 for a 3-year treatment if done by a pest management professional with commercial pesticides. Homeowner applications may vary from this estimate. The cost to remove a tree is anywhere from $1,800 to $3,600 depending on the situation. Therefore, it is more cost-effective to proactively treat trees that are within 30 miles from infested areas. Contact your local Texas A&M Forest Service or Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service for information on where emerald ash borer infestations may be in your county to determine if you are within the 30-mile range. You can also contact a professional to treat your trees if you desire. They must be a licensed pest management professional. These individuals often have greater options for treating trees, and these products have varying application recommendations, such as drenching the soil, injecting into the soil, or injecting directly into the tree. Commercial applicators have access to products that can provide up to 3 years of protection for the tree versus 12 months for most homeowner products. As with the homeowner options, the tree takes in the pesticides and it targets both the larvae as well as the adults that might be feeding on the foliage. It is estimated that emerald ash borer will continue to spread through natural and human means. Therefore, moving forth, we need to take proper precautions to learn to live with and prevent emerald ash borer. First and foremost, don't move firewood from infested counties no matter what species of firewood you think it is. Follow the quarantine rules to prevent further spread. Remove those trees that are unhealthy and replace them with new species of trees. Avoid planting the same species and plant a variety within your landscape. When we plant a monoculture and a disease or pest invades, that puts all those species at risk. But by planting a variety of species, you're still allowed some landscape coverage. Moving forward, if you find that your county has emerald ash borer, be sure to either treat your healthy trees to prevent infestation or remove and replace them with non-ash species. Remember, if you are within 30 miles of an emerald ash borer infestation, you are within the range that the beetle is likely already found. For more information about emerald ash borer and how to submit a sample, visit Texas A&M Forest Service or call 1-866-322-4512. You can also find information on emeraldashborer.info or texasinvasives.org.